Once upon a time, there was a sultan who had 3 little sons. No one could teach them anything, and this made the sultan and his wife very sad. One day, a magician came to the sultan and said, "If I take your 3 boys and teach them to read and write, and make them great scholars, what will you give me?" The sultan said, "I will give you half of my property." "No," said the magician, "that won't do. I'll give you half of the towns I own," said the sultan. "No, that will not satisfy me," the magician replied. "What do you want, then?" asked the sultan. "When I have made them scholars and bring them back to you, choose 2 of them for yourself and give me the 3rd. "I want a companion of my own," said the magician. "Agreed," said the sultan. So the magician took the 3 boys away. In a short time he taught them to read and write and made them good scholars. Then he took them back to the sultan and said, "Here are the children. They are all equally good scholars. Choose." The sultan took the 2 he preferred, and the magician went away with the 3rd son, named Kijinana, to his own house, which was very large. When they arrived, Mkawi, the magician, gave Kijinana all the keys and said, "Open whatever you wish to." Then he told Kijinana that he was his father and that he was going away for a month. When the magician was gone, Kijinana took the keys and began to explore the house. He opened one door and saw a room full of liquid gold. He put his finger in the gold, and it stuck to his finger. No matter how much he wiped and rubbed, the gold would not come off. So he wrapped a piece of rag around his finger. When the magician came home and saw the rag, he asked Kijinana what he had done to his finger. Kijinana was afraid to tell the truth, so he said that he had cut it. Not long after, Mkawi went away again, and Kijinana took the keys and continued his exploration. The first room he opened was filled with the bones of goats. The next room had sheep's bones. The next had the bones of oxen. The 4th had the bones of donkeys. The 5th had the bones of horses. The 6th room contained men's skulls. In the 7th room, Kijinana found a live horse. "Hello," said the horse. "Where do you come from, you son of Adam?" "This is my father's house," said Kijinana. "Oh, indeed," replied the horse. "Well, you have a very interesting parent. Did you know he eats people, donkeys, horses, oxen, goats, and anything he can find? You and I are the only living things left." This scared Kijinana a lot, and he asked, "What are we going to do?" "What's your name?" asked the horse. "Kijinana," he replied. "Well, I'm Pharisee. Now, Kijinana, first come and unfasten me," said the horse. Kijinana quickly did as the horse asked. "Now open the door of the room with the gold in it. I will swallow all the gold. Then I'll go and wait for you under the big tree down the road. When the magician comes home, he will say, 'Let us go for firewood.' You should answer, 'I don't understand that work,' and he will go by himself. When he comes back, he will put a big pot on the hook and tell you to make a fire under it. Tell him you don't know how to make a fire, and he will make it himself. Then he will bring a large amount of butter. While it is getting hot, he will put up a swing and say to you, 'Get up there and I'll swing you.' But you should tell him you have never played that game and ask him to swing first so you can see how it is done. Then he will get up to show you. You must push him into the big pot, and then come to me as quickly as you can." Then the horse went away. That evening, Mkawi had invited some friends for a feast at his house. He returned home early and said to Kijinana, "Let us go for firewood." But Kijinana answered, "I don't understand that work." So the magician went by himself and brought the wood. Then he hung up the big pot and said, "Light the fire." But Kijinana said, "I don't know how to do it." So the magician put the wood under the pot and lit it himself. Then he said, "Put all that butter in the pot." But Kijinana answered, "I can't lift it. I'm not strong enough." So the magician put the butter in himself. Next, Mkawi said, "Have you seen our country game?" Kijinana answered, "I think not." "Well," said the magician, "let's play it while the butter is getting hot." So he tied up the swing and said to Kijinana, "Get up here and learn the game." But Kijinana said, "You get up first and show me. I'll learn quicker that way." The magician got into the swing, and just as he got started, Kijinana gave him a big push right into the big pot. The butter was very hot, so it not only killed the magician but also cooked him. As soon as Kijinana had pushed the magician into the big pot, he ran as fast as he could to the big tree, where the horse was waiting for him. Right into the big pot! Right into the big pot! Kijinana thought excitedly. "Come on," said Farasi. "Jump on my back and let's go." Kijinana mounted the horse, and they started off. When the magician's guests arrived, they looked everywhere for him but could not find him. After waiting for a while, they became very hungry. They looked around for something to eat and saw that the stew in the big pot was done. They said to each other, "Let's begin, anyway," and started eating the stew. They ate the entire contents of the pot. After they had finished eating, they searched for Mkawi again. They found lots of food in the house and decided to stay there until he came back. But after they had waited a couple of days and eaten all the food in the place, they gave up and returned to their homes. Meanwhile, Kijinana and the horse traveled a great distance. At last, they stopped near a large town. "Let us stay here," said Kijinana, "and build a house." Farasi agreed. The horse coughed up all the gold he had swallowed. With this gold, they bought slaves, cattle, and everything they needed. When the people of the town saw the beautiful new house and all the slaves, cattle, and riches it contained, they went and told their sultan. The sultan decided that the owner of such a place must be very important and should be visited. So, he called on Kijinana and asked, "Who are you?" "Oh, I'm just an ordinary person, like other people," replied Kijinana. "Are you a traveler?" asked the sultan. "Well, I have been, but I like this place and I think I'll settle down here," Kijinana said. "Why don't you come and walk in our town?" asked the sultan. "I would like to very much, but I need someone to show me around," Kijinana replied. "Oh, I'll show you around," said the sultan eagerly, for he liked the young man. After this, Kijinana and the sultan became great friends. In time, Kijinana married the sultan's daughter, and they had one son. They lived very happily together, and Kijanana loved Pharisee as his own soul.